Electric instruments such as electric pianos often have some type of controls. Fender Rhodes, Wurlitzer and electric guitar. These typically have a volume control and a tone control. So here's electric guitar. Almost all guitars have a volume and some control for tone. This allows the player to quickly change the sound mid-song or between songs, and it just gives you that wider range of sounds, adding more versatility to the instrument. If we look at the circuit for a Fender Telecaster and remove one of the pickups and get rid of the selector switch, we've got a pickup, two controls, a capacitor, and then finally an output. This is similar to a Fender Rhodes stage controls. We've got a harp, two controls, a capacitor, once more going to an output. So when a guitar string or tine is excited, it'll create a note, but there'll also be extra sounds and features to that wave shape. This could be harmonics, overtones, it could be from external features of the instrument. This is the signal that we would get from an electric piano. The tone control works by having a capacitor between the signal and the ground. Capacitors have an ability that allows higher frequencies to pass through them, but lower frequencies cannot pass. The size of the capacitor changes the point that the frequency of the signal is filtered. The tone control, or bass boost control, places a resistor between this capacitor signal, and when the resistance is high, the less of the signal is filtered, and when the resistor is low, the higher frequencies are almost all filtered out. And then if we look at the volume control, simply this just provides a path from the signal back to the ground. Volume up means high resistance and little of the signal is returned to ground. Volume down, the resistance is very low and the signal can freely pass back to ground, meaning no signal or very little signal goes to the output. As usual, let's look at the two most popular electric pianos. So first up, let's have a look at the Wurlitzer. It's got two controls. The first one is a volume, and this does what we expect. The next control is a vibrato. This changes the intensity of the vibrato. This is quite a basic effect, and it just simply regularly changes the volume by a low frequency oscillator. But it creates a really beautiful sound. And I think this sound is a strong part of the DNA of an electric piano. Next, let's look at the Fender Rhodes stage model. This features two controls, and these are the same as most other electrical instruments, volume and tone. You may have noticed that I refer to the piano as a Fender Rhodes, where it doesn't actually feature a Fender badge. Coming from a design and guitar background, this piano has Fender all over it, in my opinion. First, it looks like a Fender amplifier. Using Fender grill cloth, Fender Tolex, it's a Fender amplifier with keys. To really see the Fender influence, let's have a look at how Fender design and make guitars. So Fender guitars are designed to be mass produced, high quality and also low cost. This is really hard to do. Fender's biggest rival could said to be Gibson. So let's have a quick comparison between a Fender guitar and a Gibson. So a Gibson guitar features bodies that have complex curves creating beautiful lines, and a Fender guitar has a flat top surface, so it can be cut out by machine with minimum waste. The Gibson bridge is a complex shape of cast metals and screws and plates, and they all work together to allow the user to adjust everything that they want to adjust. Fender, simply get a flat piece of plate and bend it. Gibson necks are handmade and the body and it perfectly matched up with a tenon joint. Fender screwed the parts together. Gibson weaved electronics through tiny holes to keep the appearance of the guitar, and Fender mount the electronics in a plastic plate which is just dropped into the body and just screws in. It's so simple and fast. So what am I saying? Am I saying Gibson are better? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying they're designed differently. The Fender design and manufacturing process are linked, and this shows the parts are designed for function and manufacture in harmony, and this creates a consistent product, often at very low cost, which gives a high quality as well. So high quality, high volume, and competitively priced. And when I look at a Fender Rhodes, I see this in the design. So back to the Fender Rhodes, there's also an option for a drop-in preamplifier, and this has a volume control and a more complex tone control, allowing the gain or reduction of bass and treble frequencies. There's also controls for the vibrato. Pulling the knob out activates it, and then we can control the depth and the frequency of it, giving us ultimate control of this effect. If we look inside, you can actually see there's 2 lamps inside as the vibrato works, and it feels like a shame that when you're playing the instrument you can't see this, but I really like it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we need to come up with something that allows us to have a similar functionality for our piano. We want to create some basic controls that allow us to have some of these useful features. The simplest approach is just to do something like the Fender Telecaster or the Fender Rhodes Stayed model. So we could solder up a basic control circuit. So I've got 2 potentiometers and I've soldered them in a circuit. Just for testing, we're going to use my Fender Rhodes piano, as my DIY piano's still got some work to go. So yeah, volume, yeah, it goes up and down, does what it should do. Tone, it cuts out the highs, yeah, it does what it's meant to do. It works well, it's simple, it's effective. But we want to go a little further than that, don't we? For me, electric piano really shines with a bit of vibrato effect. So how could we include that? Well, one thing to point out is that I'm misusing vibrato, and we call it this as it seems to be the convention. Fender amps use it, Fender Rhodes pianos use it, Wurlitzers use it, but in reality this is a tremolo effect. Vibrato is actually more for like stringed instruments like a violin, where the finger is vibrated and rolled, and this creates a change in length of the string, creating like a change in the pitch rather than the amplitude of the wave. So we could create this manual amplitude change by just holding the volume knob and moving it up and down as we play. This does remove one hand, it's not ideal, so we need to create something a little better. We could create a machine that moves the knobs for us while we play. Is this overkill? So I've created this little machine. It's a little servo motor, and it moves the volume knob, creates, a mono vibrato sound, and isn't it fantastic? It's a little noisy, a little distracting. Yeah, maybe we should try something else. So yeah, we could try external effects, but that's not really in the spirit of the DIY electric piano. We could buy a full piano if we really wanted to, but that's not the plan. We need to create something as much as we can. So next up we need something a little smarter. It's also a good idea to take some of the features of the external unit and try and add them to our design. So we could recreate this by using a microcontroller. So this is an Arduino, and it's a relatively inexpensive computer that you can program to do a range of different things. It's got input and output pins, and we can tell it what to do with those pins relative to some computer code that we store on there. So I've programmed this one just to blink regularly. Changing the firmware, we can change how often it blinks. We can add another LED and have this turn on one as one turns off, and repeat this pattern as the blink. Hang on, wait there. This looks like the Peterson preamp, doesn't it? So how do we use this light to change the sound? We want to pair up these LEDs with something that allows the volume to change. As we've seen earlier, the volume control basically allows a low resistance path to ground. We can place an LDR, a light dependent resistor, in the circuit in place of this volume control. The resistance of this little thing changes dependent on the amount of light on the LDR. So it's common to attach an LED and an LDR together, and this allows a circuit to control another circuit, but it's electrically separate. We're not introducing noise or changing the signal, we're not using buffers or any other effects. It's a separate circuit. So the one thing with LDRs to bear in mind is the resistance doesn't go all the way to 0. So this does work, but one thing is it doesn't cut the signal completely out. But hey, it works. We have Vibrato. But yeah, we can build this a little bit further again. So I've added the next step, and I've added controls that allow the rate and the vibrato to change dependent on these two potentiometers. It uses 2 pins to measure the voltage, and as I change the potentiometers, the resistance changes, and it uses that to change the timing that it's alternating, the steps that the LED changes at. I know we could have bought one, and I know we could have designed a better circuit, but as a starting point, and as something that's passive, I think this is alright. I think we created something that matches the brief. We've got some basic controls, we've got volume, we've got tone, and we've got vibrato. And I'm really happy with how the project's come along, and I'm quite amazed with how many people have actually subscribed to the project so far. There's still lots to come, so if you haven't already, join in, do subscribe. I'm sure some of you will have a little bit more circuit design knowledge than me, so feel free to get in touch, and you know, let's remake this with a second video for an even better design. Till next time, thank you.